he has just achieved this monstrous achievement with this film. You know, it's had, I can't even tell you how many reviews. It's had dozens of reviews over here. The critics love it. He's now got it on multiple platforms in the UK. Like, so all this hard work that him and Sam and Nathaniel and the team did all these years has really paid off. But he doesn't give himself enough credit at all, you know. And we all got paid. You know, we all worked on a set. We got paid, which is more than half the independent films you do in your career,
Yeah.
and had a wonderful time. Everybody's still friends. We all still talk almost daily on a WhatsApp group that's just about the Criminal Audition team. I mean, it's pretty remarkable what they've achieved.
Yeah, I appreciate the candor, and it's funny like listening to you say it because I just think about I thought that it was a great idea to ditch my corporate career and kind of pursue dreams of getting into filmmaking myself. Probably, well, it's probably close to 2 years ago now, and so that first 18 months was was really hard anyway because we've got kids and expenses and things like that. So that was probably a irresponsible move, and I'm sure probably lots of people saw it that way. But I was like,
No,
no, what, screw you guys. Like, I've got just as much chance to become a director as anybody else. Like, we're all humans, and I do believe that philosophy, right? Like, it's like people always look at the end product. They look at Tarantino or whatever. Like, I pick on Tarantino mostly because I always I'd love to meet him, and but if you took away all of his success in movies, right? Because he's made such movies that have such cool characters, and there's just that Tarantino coolness, right? But if all that was gone, he's just a really quite quirky, weird dude who was working at a video store. You know what I mean? So it's like it's people can change from being just the mega nerd to the rich and famous and pop stars, and it's just it's all a very strange dichotomy. But it's
yeah,
almost a curse, isn't it?
everybody started
Creativity.
somewhere. Yeah, everyone started from something. So
Yeah, yeah, yes. So how did you, I guess, push it along over those years? Because I'm interested to know how many days of shooting, and so were you kind of working with people, maybe doing a day here or there on weekends? How did it all unfold, and how many days did you end up using total?
yeah, so between 2014 and 2017, it was just a write-off. Everything we tried, everything we applied for, we failed. As Angela said, cast members, we cast it way too early. Cast members left. Tried to get funding, that failed. Lots of fun. Rewrote the script around 15 times to try and make it more, something that we could make on an indie film budget.
Yeah,
As far as the shooting goes, when we discovered that, I think it must have been around 2017 when we discovered we had the ability to shoot what we wanted to shoot now. We sort of mapped out that we needed 3 weeks. And so that was going to be hard enough because obviously, again, indie film, you're working around everyone's schedules. You don't really have the same clout as a major studio. So it was very I suppose just exhausting trying to find a location because the whole film takes place in an abandoned theatre. So we needed it to look a bit derelict. And also we needed the whole space. We needed the whole theatre and access to the whole theatre. And every place I phoned was either, couldn't give us this 3-week block that we needed, or there'd be a caveat with how much they wanted, or it just wouldn't look derelict enough, which would have meant we would have had to do loads of set building and dressing, which would have cost too much. And thankfully, I honestly think I rang every single fringe theatre and production house in London. But thankfully, we found one who, funny enough, when she was showing us around, that's the theatre manager. She actually was apologising for the mess, and we were like, no, keep the mess. Don't touch anything. Don't please leave this dust. Stop wiping it down. So that was fantastic. We lucked out so much, and they were excellent people as a network theatre.
That venue that you
Was that
got,
Angela?
because I said that is a brilliant venue. I've been there to see friends perform in the theatre there. And I'm like a complete OCD control freak, but I just remember turning up on set and thinking, It's not the theatre that I remember coming to. Like, it was just yes, it was dirty. It was filthy, but obviously you needed it to look like that for what you were
Yeah.
filming. Yeah.
Yes. Perfect.
Such a
Yeah,
good place.
it
Like,
had
that's the thing too,
it,
Brad, until you come to London, you don't even know, like, this is underneath Waterloo Station, which is one of our biggest stations. It's hidden under there, and you've got to go through this car park. So, like, half the time when friends want to go and see their friends in this theatre show, that the mates have to explain really carefully, exit, Waterloo Station via the back, go past the McDonald's and take a right into this weird corridor. So you might think you're gonna end up getting mugged. But then randomly on the left hand is this like little theatre, and then you go into the
Wow.
theatre in this other world.
I love stuff like that.
it's it's got
Mm.
great character, and that lends itself for the film because we needed it to sing straight away. And as Angela said, because it's so out of the way, there's no phone signal down there. So when we were filming for 15 days, Monday to Friday, you do feel like you were, disconnecting from the world, and people could focus on the filmmaking because no one, unless you're willing to walk 5 minutes or 10 minutes down the road, you're not going to get any phone signal.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, I kind of, in some ways, yeah, I dislike the continuous expansion of improving the telco networks because I love that sensation of being just completely off the grid.
Yeah.
You know, my parents, they live on a water only property down at the Hawkesbury, which is this big river, I guess,
Wow.
an hour or so north of Sydney. Yeah, it's beautiful. And
Beautiful.
yeah. And their mobile signal is quite patchy now, but it used to be zero, right? So like if I went to visit, and I actually haven't been for years now, but it used to be as soon as you went under the bridge, basically. So you'd go by, they had a little fishing boat, commuter boat sort of thing, and you'd get in the boat, and then you'd go under the bridge, and pretty much as soon as you went under the main road bridge, heading further upriver, your phone signal would drop out, and so they'd be like, okay, all right, I'm off the grid now for however many days you would go. So yeah, I think that's nice. So how many people did you have, I guess, total involved in the production for Criminal Audition?
It's quite good timing actually. Now you're saying it because I'm currently sort of trying to list out everyone that's sort of helped in some manner because
Yeah,
I think it's just very important to.
yeah,
Funny enough, it's a good tool to look back at like how many people had to help out on the way, and this is including people who were way back in 2014 because all those mistakes that you make as a filmmaker, that's part of the actual thing you make at the end, right? It's the crux because if you don't make those mistakes, you don't then get led to the successful ones, the right choices. So, God, I think there's around 80 different people, and on set there might have been quite a lot fewer, maybe 30 people on set, but then 80 in total
yeah,
who helped shape this. Yeah.
yeah. And a lot of them probably doing it out of the goodness of their heart, I imagine, is often the case. Or were you
Uh,
able to pay it, quite a few of them?
we managed to pay everyone,
Oh, wow,
but it
that's great.
was obviously on a very uh, semi-embarrassing budget. So it was all sort of worked out in a very kind of yeah. Hopefully you understand. But I that was one of
Yeah,
the
no,
the
completely.
ways we wanted to make it is that I didn't want to mess anyone around. I wanted to be completely upfront with them in what the budget was, and I think there's too many people in indie filmmaking right now who like to pretend that their project is grander than it is, and I don't think that's the way to go. And I get what they're hoping to do with that. They're hoping to create this illusion that they are this huge behemoth that is going to, people need to wake up and listen up and look, watch out for them. But I
Yeah,
actually think the better way to do it is to just be candid and upfront with people and say, look, we're trying our best. This is what we've got. This is the project. If you're excited about it, this is what we're going to achieve, and we will achieve exactly this. Rather than being like, oh well, Warner Brothers will be on the phone by the time we've shot day one, and I
yeah.
just don't. It doesn't wash with me. I'm way
No.
too British and get too Hugh Grant-esque, and I'm like, sorry for this, and I'm sorry for that, and everything. I'm so sorry about everything.
It's
And
awkward
also
though,
Brad,
isn't it?
Brad, Luke is so humble. Like, he has just achieved this monstrous achievement with this film. It's had, I can't even tell you how many reviews. It's had dozens of reviews over here. The critics love it. He's now got it on multiple platforms in the UK. Like, so all this hard work that him and Sam and Nathaniel and the team did all these years has really paid off. But he doesn't give himself enough credit at all, you know. And we all got paid. You know, we all worked on a set. We got paid, which is more than half the independent films you do in your career. And
Yeah.
had a wonderful time. Everybody's still friends. We all still talk almost daily on a WhatsApp group that's just about the Criminal Audition team. I mean, it's pretty remarkable what they've achieved.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, well, there you go.
I
Good
need
to
to.
have you on
I
here
need
there
to.
to keep him honest.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I need to have Angela as my hype hype person.
Your
You don't
wing
need, you don't
lady.
need, you've got the most amazing, you've got Gina there doing the most amazing PRing I've ever seen. I'm hiring her for everything.
True, true. Yeah, my girlfriend does. I think that's a thing to state is that my girlfriend has made sure that every time I am, down because I've been down a lot in this process, she always takes over and does all the work for me.
Oh, that's so nice. That's awesome.
Really
Yeah,
Yeah, really, really
yeah.
good. I think it's important to have someone in your corner because it's yeah, it's a tricky process. Like particularly you go out and you think, okay, I'm going to do this creative journey, and I think, and in myself included, I think it's only really been this last couple of years that I kind of threw myself in the deep end and, was literally started from doing Airtasker jobs, just I thought, well, lots of people do jobs for free just to try and build a bit of a show, something that they can show people that they've created. And so I thought, well, I may as well at least get paid something. But yeah, I mean, I got a few Airtasker jobs in, and I was like, okay, this is really pretty degrading. Like, as the prices that we're haggling over here, and having to put you have to put your you're groveling for this ridiculously underpriced job on the website. You know what I mean? So everybody else can read you going, oh, please pick me. And I don't know, I just found that a bit embarrassing. But yeah, it's a real process, and it's often a long journey, and often situations where people are not getting paid, and that's why now when I hear, oh, we made it for like $5,000 or £5,000 or whatever the case might be, you think, how on earth did you do it? But it has to be from convincing somebody or talking to somebody who just takes a shine to you or takes a shine to the project and is kind enough to say, okay, yes, I'll do it for that price, or I'll do it for free. So it's a miracle, really, how much stuff gets created, considering a lot of it relies on people doing those sorts of favours for others.